Well, Steve Tasker is someone who knows these conditions very well. He's working the sidelines for us, and we go downstairs to him right now. Steve?
I cannot believe you talked me into doing this. I'm clearing off this stuff with a snow shovel. It's hard to imagine a beginning to a career as catastrophic as Nate Peterman's was in LA, a 5 interception. You know he wants to get redemption for that in this first home start, but look at the conditions he has to work with. I will say this, since 1986 I've watched games here. I've never seen a game with worse conditions in Buffalo than the one they're about to play. But it did look like a bunch of 300-pound 6-year-olds coming down the tunnel as the Buffalo Bills are totally embracing this opportunity. Sparrow?
Steve, incredible. Unbelievable. And you dream about playing in the snow in the backyard as a kid. I'm not sure anyone could be prepared for these kinds of conditions. As Indianapolis winning the toss, they defer, and so Buffalo has it. That's Brandon Tate, able to work his way straight up the field. A return of 28 yards. So here comes Nathan Peterman, the rookie, second career start with Tyrod Taylor shut down with that knee injury. Far different playing conditions that he had to deal with in Los Angeles a couple of weeks back. How about the starters in front of the rookie quarterback out of Pitt? Deion Dawkins continues to start. Cordy Glenn nearing a return, but not quite ready yet. And Kelvin Benjamin back in the lineup, his third game since coming over in that trade on Halloween from Carolina. And so he had to deal with that torn meniscus. You have to expect a heavy dose of LaShawn McCoy in this game, a pickup of 2 with visibility and throwing conditions very difficult. How about this defense for Indianapolis? Al Woods headlines there up front. Their 8th-year man out of LSU, last 3 seasons in Tennessee. The linebackers, Barkevius Mingo continues to start. They had to shut down John Simon a few weeks back. And their top 3 corners today are all rookies. Quincy Wilson making the start, the second-round pick out of Florida. That pass intended for Benjamin and incomplete. And you go through the week, you prepare as a quarterback, Adam. Nothing can prepare you for playing in this kind of weather.
Yeah, and really for all players, but especially for Peterman. You know that he was just itching to get back on the field, and looking at the matchups and the problems that the Colts secondary had this year, this game was tailor-made for him to come out and get some confidence after that first start against the LA Chargers. But this is very difficult, not only for him, but his receivers as well.
Little push play. This is McCoy on 3rd and 8. Matthias Farley on a tackle, but not before McCoy picks up 10 yards and a Bills first down.
We already have seen that the conditions have affected a lot of different players. McCoy, not the great change of direction, but you see how big that hole is up inside. He still can make that cut and get up inside before the defense has a chance to react. But you know, this should favor the Colts front 7 because McCoy isn't going to have that drastic stop and start acceleration that he's known for.
Well, McCoy grew up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, played, of course, all those years in Philly. He's used to playing in the cold and the snow as he is buried that time. Antonio Morrison able to shoot the gap and dump McCoy for a loss of a yard. And this obviously changes the playbook for Rick Dennison, as you've alluded to already. Buffalo's offensive coordinator, he's got a new quarterback, rookie quarterback, and now has to deal with the elements as well.
And the receivers do. You see, it's even tough for the receivers because Kevin Benjamin, dropped the ball right there on a quick slant. The visibility, the being unsure with your feet and where they're at on the ground.
On 2nd and 11, this is McCoy again. Brought down by Farley after a pickup of a couple. As this Indianapolis defense that is worst in the league in terms of points allowed, 27.5 points per game. But these playing conditions certainly even the playing field for any defense. Just incredible pictures as that snow continues to come down with full force. Mike Tolbert is the lone setback. Peterman on 3rd and 8. Loses his footing for a moment. He's going to try to run for it, and Peterman appears as though he has the first down. No signal yet from the officials, and now they say Buffalo first down, a pickup of 8.
Oh, not quite Tyrod Taylor-esque. A little bit different, but you can see that Peterman is a pretty good athlete. He does have some ability to scramble, Right there, he gets away from the defensive end, Jabal Sheard. He sees that there's really nobody else in the middle of the field, and he goes up there and picks up the first down.
Nathan Peterman, who grew up in sunny Jacksonville, Florida. From the shotgun formation, this is Travaris Cadet, who sustained that concussion last week, was through the protocol. They cleared him pretty early in the week, and so Cadet available today, as Buffalo will lean on this ground game as they have done so far on a pretty good opening drive here, all things considered. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Hey, you can see even the weather affecting Cadet because he's a speed guy and a juice guy, and he's still a little unsure of his footing. If this was normal conditions, he would have been easily able to see the edge right there, get outside, and gash the Colts for a big play.
8th play of this opening drive for the Bills. Low snap. Boy, Peterman able to avert disaster and just fall on the football. Wisely done. As Marcus Hunt was there for Indianapolis. But Buffalo loses 4, and it will be 3rd and 13 coming up.
Makes it really difficult. Even the center, Eric Wood, is having a hard time, trying to get the ball out. He knows that he's got to get to his left to get his run block, does not quite secure it. This is one of those games where the little details really have to come into play. You can't take anything for granted because the weather will make you make a mistake.
You can see players having to kick the snow away just to get any kind of traction. Peterman's pass is caught. That's Benjamin. Appears to be a little bit short of the sticks. We'll see where the officials spot this here. A pickup of 11, but Benjamin a little bit short.
Yeah, 3rd and long and a quick slant. You see the problems right there. Nate Hairston, the nickel corner, he can't come out of his break. You can see right here, 4th and short.
Joe Webb has come onto the field here for Sean McDermott. Certainly can't take a chance and try to kick a field goal from this distance in these kinds of conditions. And that looks as though Chuck Pagano and the Colts will take their first time out. Think about it, as they were all discombobulated defensively. Now, just as they do that, you see some of the grounds crew here quickly come out with the shovels and the snow blowers to try to get the yard lines a little bit more visible. I mean, this is just a wild scene in Buffalo. It is snowing in our booth. It's incredible from everyone's vantage point.
I've got to tell you, I played in a little bit of snow in Seattle. Nothing nearly like this. Played in some cold weather games. The cold really isn't that big of a factor, but not having confidence with your feet, I think, is the biggest thing. When you're playing on defense, you're not able to react. On offense, you can't set people up. You can already see how much slower these players are moving on the field. It's just a different ball game. Now, Joe Webb at quarterback, it's not a wildcat because he's a quarterback, but this is high tendency of quarterback run.
So Peterman and Webb both on the field. Webb has taken all of 8 offensive snaps on the season, 5 coming last week. As now it appears as though Buffalo called the timeout.
Buffalo, they're first. It will be 30 seconds.
So both head coaches burning an early timeout here.
It's pretty interesting because, there was a break in the game right there at a timeout, and the Bills were late to line up, and the play clock was running down, and that's just bad communication on the sideline. They had to be ready to go right there, get up, snap the football, you burn a timeout.
Yeah, the play clock was not an issue. They still had a few seconds on the play clock. And you're right, just seemed to be some confusion on that offensive side of the field for the Bills. So they burn the timeout, 4th and 2. Webb will stay on the field here.
Mike 44!
And Nathan Peterman is split out towards the bottom of your picture on 4th and 2. Webb rolls out, off balance, high pass, and it's incomplete. Looking on the sideline for the tight end, Charles Clay, but a little bit too high, and the Bills drive stalls on a 4th and 2. It's a whiteout here in Buffalo as Jacoby Brissett and the Colts with their opening possession. After that Buffalo drive stalled on a 4th and 2, they keep it on the ground here to Frank Gore. Now 5th on the NFL's all-time rushing list. So here is Brissett, turned 25 just recently, making his 12th NFL start. Last week, probably his worst game of the season. Struggled a couple of interceptions in that loss in Jacksonville, and he has taken a beating, sacked more than any quarterback in the league. They have had a lot of moving parts up front. Today, their 6th different center of the season. Anthony Fabiano Kamara making the start, as Dante Moncrief is out with an ankle injury, expecting a heavy dose of Frank Gore, one of the most physical runners that we have seen in the league in recent memory. Tackled on that play by Kyle Williams, who was a question mark this week, just added on Wednesday to the injury report with a groin injury. And as you can see, visibility is going to be an issue as this game goes on. Just incredible.
It really is. And really on third down, you saw the Bills on their first third down in the game, 3rd and long, run the football because of the difficulties throwing. I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts keep this on the ground as well.
Set hands off, and this is Gore. Able to run through a wide open gap through the teeth of that Bills defense. A pickup of a half dozen for an Indianapolis first down.
See, the main thing is when you come up to tackle, you've got to be able to have your feet. You see right there, Gore is just able to slip a tackle, get up inside, and pick up the first down. But this is about the kind of game we're going to have. Steady diet of Gore and Mack, and LaShawn McCoy and Cadet on the other side.
They're set under center, 1st and 10. They keep it on the ground again to Gore. Right over center, a pickup of a couple. Well, coming up Thursday, Denver taking on these Indianapolis Colts. Short week for Chuck Pagano and Indy. Thursday Night Football, NFL Network, NBC, and streaming live on Amazon Prime Video. You think these kind of conditions always favor the defense, and they certainly do, but as a defensive player, Adam, it puts you in a tough spot as well with the traction.
It affects everybody.
Go! On 2nd and 8, Brissett giving to Gore. Gore last week, of course, passing Jerome Bettis and LaDainian Tomlinson, a couple of Hall of Famers, now number 5 on the NFL's all-time rushing list. Just an incredible career that he has had in his 13th NFL season.
And the running game, kind of came alive last week. 141 yards against a really good Jacksonville front 7, and really kind of grinded it out with the 1-2 combination of Gore and Marlon Mack. And coming into this game, they felt like this defense, who has struggled stopping the run, was the place that they were able to attack.
Where do they go here on 3rd and 5? No surprise. Back to Gore, but that Buffalo front is able to hold with a host of tacklers. Preston Brown making first contact for Sean McDermott's defense, and it will be 4th down for the Colts.
And Chuck Pagano here has a decision to make himself.
Punting, Adam, is an issue as well in these kinds of conditions.
Yep.
You're taking a big risk with the snap, all that kind of stuff, and it appears as though the Colts are going to line up and try to go for it.
Yeah, and I really think this is really kind of the only thing you can do here, because you cannot risk a bad snap, and you cannot risk a catastrophic play in these type of conditions. One play could be the difference in this game.
4th and 4, big wide open seam for Gore, and he's got the first down for the Colts. A pickup of 6.
Both teams being able to pick up first down on 3rd down with runs, and up front, the offensive line, that right side, Denzel Good, Joe Haig. He got a block by the tight end, Jack Doyle, and just a small little hole right there, but just enough for Gore to pick it up.
So a good start for Gore, especially considering the circumstances. 7 attempts for 24 yards, including a couple of first down runs. So we'll get a breather here. This is Marlon Mack, the speedy rookie, and look at Mack in the open field. Somehow able to find the traction with his feet. He has been one of the most elusive backs in the league this season in terms of big runs of over 20 plus. This one here for 21.
He averaged 7.7 yards a carry last week, and he is a big play guy. Now, he gets stuffed in the backfield more than Frank Gore does, but he has that ability to bring the excitement and the big play out of the run game in this offense.
Mack stays on the field, lone setback as they continue to try to pound the rock with the run, but Mack that time is stuffed by Preston Brown. Steve, you still alive down there? How you doing?
Well, I'm just hanging in there. You know, I had a chance to speak with Bills kicker Stephen Houshkin. I got to think it's the same thing for Adam Vinatieri. They're just trying to find a way to get their foot on the ball, so field goals aren't even going to be a way to win this game. I don't even think, even if a team manages to score a touchdown, they're going to try an extra point. They'll have to go for 2 almost every play. It's 4-down territory. I think both teams will go for it on every 4th down, and I think it's going to be a game that goes away in about 90 minutes.
Unbelievable.
I can't believe Steve said that in all his time here that this is the worst that he's ever seen. That's amazing to me.
That man knows better than most. This is Gore. Shot out of a cannon as he again goes right up the gut against this Buffalo defense. Micah Hyde has to come down from his strong safety position. Hyde has been terrific this season for McDermott's defense. But Gore picks up 7.
The Bills have really struggled. 4 of their last 5 games have given up big numbers on the ground, including that almost 300 yards given up against the New Orleans Saints. Linebackers have really had a hard time with their gap assignments in this defense, and so far in this game, both Gore and Mack have been able to exploit that weakness.
Right, 20. Good.
On 3rd and 7. This is Gore, but going nowhere. Very little daylight to maneuver towards the right side of that Indianapolis offensive line. And another decision here for Chuck Pagano on 4th and 7. As it was Preston Brown on the tackle, and Pagano's going to send out Vinatieri in his field goal unit.
It's going to be interesting. You know that Vinatieri, he's been in this place before. But the snap, the hold, the entire operation has to be absolutely perfect. And you would hate for a mistake to happen in the kicking game to be the difference in a game like this.
Historically, this has been one of the few places where Vinatieri has struggled. He's only 11 of 20 in his career in Buffalo. This will be a 33-yard attempt. The long snapper is Luke Rhodes, and Rigoberto Sanchez is the holder. That's the only angle that we can show you that there would be any visibility, and Vinatieri misses it. Still scoreless in a blizzard in Buffalo.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. And by the all-new Accord from Honda.
Well, the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award recognizes NFL players who've made a significant impact both on the game and in their communities. This year's nominee for the Colts is Darius Butler, and for the Bills, it's Lorenzo Alexander. Both players have made an enormous impact on the Indianapolis and Buffalo communities through their charities, the Darius Butler Foundation and the Aces Foundation, respectively. Now, this year's winner will be announced at NFL Honors the night before Super Bowl 52. To learn all about this year's nominees, you can visit NFL.com/Man of the Year. Two of the most respected men in their locker rooms. As you see the temperature reading here, just above 20 degrees. And that wind just whipping around down on the field here at New Era Field in Orchard Park, New York. Second offensive drive for Nate Peterman, making his 2nd NFL start. Run play called as they keep it on the ground here to LaShawn McCoy. And another look at this Vinatieri 33-yard field goal attempt. I'm not sure Pagano's going to send Vinatieri out again.
I mean, you got to try it, I guess, right? And see exactly if there's one guy that has been around long enough to maybe get it done. But this is bananas. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it.
Everything kind of goes out the window in terms of preparations, what they had in terms of the game plan for today. They're just so limited in what they can do. On 2nd and 7, this is McCoy again. And anyone who knows Western New York knows about the lake effect and the snow bands here that just dump so much snow on this part of the country. We are right where that, just north of that big center on the weather map, and just incredible pictures here as the snow showing no signs of letting up, at least at the moment.
Yeah, pretty important third down here because, this is not four-down territory here. So if they don't pick this up, the punting game now will become a factor.
Play clock down to 3. Peterman handing to McCoy. McCoy needed 6, appears to be short. As once again, Buffalo's drive looks as though it will stall here, as they'll be faced with a 4th down. We'll see what Sean McDermott wants to do.
Yeah, looks like they're staying on the field. This might be a situation where you would maybe call for a pooch punt and line up Peterman in shotgun formation.
And now they say, Adam, it is indeed enough for the 1st down, so they do move the sticks. And a fresh set of downs for the Bills. Could be the final play of the quarter.
Kelvin Benjamin is lined up way off sides here.
No, we don't.
Because he can't see the line.
Doesn't appear as though Buffalo will snap the football. May have caught a break there with where Benjamin was lined up on the field. End of 1 in Buffalo on CBS. Oh, how about a tip of the cap to our incredible camera crew here, having to brave the elements. That's Bob Wishney. He's got his layers. He looks like he's nice and warm. There's Mike Serio handling the camera, some of the best in the business. Nicely done, boys. This is just an incredible scene in very difficult circumstances for everyone as they bring you some of these incredible pictures. Buffalo with their first play of the 2nd quarter as play resumes. How about our intrepid sideline reporter down on the field, Steve Tasker. Steve?
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that. The only way they're going to call a game like this is, well, they won't. But unless there's a reason to suspect injury or something like that, they're going to let this game play out. And you saw how fast that first quarter went. It's not going to get any better. The only way this could get any more ridiculous, Spiro, Arch, is if somebody challenges a spot.
Mike 44.
I mean, it's unbelievable. You can't see from one end of the field to the other.
Steve, you're right. And during every stoppage, you'll see the grounds crew come out and try with the snow blowers and shovels to clear the yard line markers, and that's a good point. Spotting the football is something now that becomes an issue for these officials as McCoy is tackled by Matthias Fardley. And it will be 3rd down coming up for the Bills. You can see Eric Wood trying to clear out some room to get some traction here. 3rd and 3. As now Mike Tolbert is the lone setback behind Peterman. This is Tolbert. You see him lose his footing, just barely able to get back to the line of scrimmage. And it will be 4th down coming up. And it looks like Sean McDermott will send out his punt team.
A really nice job inside by the Indianapolis Colts front 4, and that was Al Woods, who has been a huge presence among this defensive line. They've really upgraded their run defense this season, and he's been a big part of that.
Colton Schmidt on to punt.
I'd almost pooch punt this.
We'll see how Schmidt handles this here. Back deep to return for the Colts is Chester Rogers. Good snap. And Schmidt is able to get it off cleanly. And boy, this is a thing of beauty considering the circumstances here. As Schmidt gets a nice ovation from these fans. 44-yard punt in the blizzard.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pepsi, welcoming you to the fun doesn't end zone. And by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
Well, tonight he has one of the most dangerous occupations in the world, running for president against Vladimir Putin, plus one of Hollywood's most famous leading men talks about not fitting in tonight, 60 Minutes, only CBS. 1st and 10, Frank Gore slips up, and that's going to be an issue all day for these players. In a game that seems to be being played at the North Pole. Snow blizzard conditions as we play early stages of the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, we've got maybe 4 plays in the playbook here for both football teams. And the Colts came out in their first drive really kind of moved the ball pretty well. 12 plays, 47 yards, and have yet to attempt a pass in this game. So you can see what the strategy is for Chuck Pagano.
On 2nd and 10, the Colts actually practiced outside this week in Indianapolis. It was about 28 degrees, but obviously nothing that could prep them for these conditions with that snow coming down with full force. 3rd and 6.
You know, passing game, quick slants, quick outs, really high percentage plays here, getting the ball out quickly. You know, I don't think you can abandon the pass altogether, but there might be some areas where you can run some quick game to get guys open.
This is Gore, and he is going nowhere. Micah Hyde able to get there first for the Bills defense, and it will be 4th and 6.
Well, how about the season that Micah Hyde has had so far this year? He's leading the Pro Bowl voting for strong safeties. He's come over from the Green Bay Packers. He's been an excellent coverage safety, 5 interceptions on the season, plays a lot inside, down in the box, and has just been terrific.
Former 5th-round pick of the Packers, first 4 years of his career in Green Bay. And those 5 interceptions have him tied with Eric Weddle for the 2nd most in the league, behind only Tennessee's Kevin Byard, who's got 6. Kind of a low line drive punt off the foot of Rigoberto Sanchez. And the rookie able to get it down the field, only about 34 yards. Some pushing after the play on CBS. Well, that lake effect snow continues to fall here at New Era Field. Certainly would have been a little bit toastier to play this game inside the dome in Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium.
Dome-like forecast.
But these folks in Western New York are used to this kind of weather.
Well, at least we can see a little bit more here on this drive. Maybe we can figure out what's happening down there. Spiro, what do you think?
Tough for any quarterback. Certainly a guy making only his 2nd NFL start, as Nathan Peterman is today, for the injured Tyrod Taylor. Run play called. No surprise. This is McCoy trying to bounce to the outside. And McCoy run out of bounds on that Bills sideline. A pickup of 5 as he is forced out of bounds by Barkevius Mingo for the Colts.
You can already see that McCoy has had some pretty good runs here, considering in this game. Good tackle breaking ability. That time Margus Hunt, the defensive tackle, he's playing for Henry Anderson. He falls to the ground, gets up, but before he realizes that McCoy has reverse field, McCoy is gone and is able to hit the corner.
See, the Colts have yet to attempt to pass. This is McCoy, first down run. And a little bit more from McCoy as we go to New York. Update time with JB.
Key play, heavyweight matchup.
Here's Devin Funch is going to catch his from Cam Newton over Xavier Rhodes, a matchup of the day that leads to a Jonathan Stewart 1-yard run. He's got 2 on the day. Carolina leads 14-7.
Back to Spiro and Adam.
All right, you see the Vikings playoff scenarios with a win or a tie today, or some help by Detroit and Green Bay. 1st and 10 after the McCoy run. McCoy getting a breather here. And big Mike Tolbert, the lone setback. Here is the battering ram taking out a couple of Colts defenders. And, you know, Adam, you sit here and kind of lost in the talk of the weather and this wild scene is the fact that this is basically a must-win situation for the Bills. 6-6, game behind the Ravens in that final wild card spot in the AFC.
It is, and it's also a game. Look, they're still trying to find out about Nathan Peterman, and they really want to see what he's able to do. He just can't do it in a game like this. So, you know, there's still, even after this game, going to be major question marks on can he recover from what he did in his first start.
On 2nd and 7, this is Tolbert. We met with Peterman and the Bills on Friday, and at that point, it was still anyone's guess whether or not Tyrod Taylor would be able to play. We met with Peterman. He didn't know what was happening, took most of the reps in practice this week, and you know, here he is getting his chance for his 2nd start after that 5 INT game in LA a couple of weeks ago, and he's got to deal with this weather.
Yeah, and you know what they like about him? They like the fact that now the passing game can kind of open up, and they can add more passing concepts into their offense. The way he plays with his feet and throws more timing passes. The wind has died down a little bit, so they might throw the ball a couple more times here.
On 3rd and 6. Could potentially be 2-down territory. That pass intended for Benjamin is incomplete. as Benjamin comes back from the torn meniscus in his knee in that Chargers game.
That's Quincy Wilson, the rookie, getting a chance to play here. People have been waiting to see when he's going to be able to see the field. Really hasn't played much since that Week 2 game against the Arizona Cardinals, but lined up. You know that it's going to be a lot of quick routes, but you can also, in a game like this, set up some double moves down the field when you get DBs to bite.
McDermott doesn't want to risk a field goal, so they'll roll the dice on 4th and 6. That pass intended for Benjamin again, and it's incomplete. Well done by the secondary. Kenny Moore, the rookie, able to bat it down for the Colts. Well, the NFL lost an old friend this week when Ron Meyer passed away at the age of 76. He had deep ties to the state of Indiana, played collegiately at Purdue in the early 60s, later became a Boilermakers assistant. He coached high school ball just outside South Bend and coached some of the all-time greats. Eric Dickerson at SMU, head coach for both the Patriots and the Colts. And we were thinking about Ron this week. He helped author one of the classic moments, Miami, New England. This was 1982. Then the Patriots head coach, as they got ready for a last-second field goal, he had the snowplow come out and clear some room for his kicker. And John Smith, that 33-yard game winner to win it. One of the iconic moments. And our thoughts and prayers with Ron's family after his passing earlier this week. That's Frank Gore on the take. 13 attempts now for Gore, and a good-looking run that time for 8. Finally tackled by Cedric Thornton. It'll be 2nd and 2.
Well, that was a tough run up inside. There was about 6 or 7 players, both Colts and Buffalo players up in there, and number 23 keeps those legs just churning up inside, sets them up for 2nd and 2. Now, I do think you can start to throw the ball a little bit at this point in the game with the weather.
Brissett still has not attempted a pass if you've just joined us. There's a run play called here to Gore. Needed only 2 yards for the first down, and now the officials say first down for Indianapolis. As that clock continues to run now, coming up on the final 7 minutes before halftime in a scoreless game here in Orchard Park. Indianapolis at 3-9, 1-4 in the AFC South. They lost last week in Jacksonville, assuring them of their first losing season since Chuck Pagano took over. Trying to play the role of spoilers against a Bills team still fighting for its postseason life. Short gain on first down with Gore as we go back to New York and JB.
Sense of urgency for KC.
Yeah, KC has come out with a sense of purpose here. Alex Smith finds Travis Kelce for 16 yards. This will set up a Kareem Hunt 1-yard rushing touchdown. Their first rushing touchdown in 9 games. KC up 10-0 early in the second.
Spiro, Adam, and Steve.
What a wild AFC West it's been this season. Kansas City, that 4-0 start. But right now, getting everything they can handle from the Chargers and the Raiders as they play a big one there here in Week 14. 2nd and 8% with his first pass attempt of the day. It's Marlon Mack. First down and more from the rookie. So dangerous in the open field, even in these conditions. A pickup of 13 yards, finally tackled by Matt Milano.
Matt Milano, the rookie out of Boston College, he's responsible for Mack in coverage right there. But because the Colts have done nothing but run the ball the entire game, he goes up, he plays the run, and then Mack is able to sneak out into the flat. Really nice play call by Rob Chudzinski, the offensive coordinator.
This is Gore. Chudzinski had a rough week trying to get his team ready. Ryan Kelly, who's been working his way back from the concussion, was someone who participated in practice most of the week and then did not get the final clearance, and that happened on Friday night. So Chudzinski was up all night, basically had to kind of tweak things. As Mike Person, who is their number 2 center, unavailable today. He went down with an ankle last week, and so Anthony Fabiano forced to make the start. Their 6th different center that they've had to use this season due to all the injuries. Ball on the Bills 36. There's Mack, who is going nowhere. Adolphus Washington and Jordan Poyer, who's been terrific at the safety position this season on the tackle.
Now, the Bills up front have had a hard time rushing the passer this year, but Adolphus Washington has been really good in the run game. He has yet to really find his groove as a pass rusher, but he makes a lot of plays around the line of scrimmage when it comes to the run.
So Bills defense was very good against Tom Brady and the Patriots, even in the loss here last week. Right now trying to do it in the snow against the Colts. This is Mack trying to find the edge. But well short on 3rd and 10. Picks up only 3. Tackled by Cappy, who was signed from the Buffalo practice squad on Tuesday after Shaq Lawson was shut down this week and placed on IR. Had a great preseason with Arizona. And went to the Giants, played 4 games with New York before signed to the Bills practice squad in late November. Finally getting his chance here with the Bills today. And now it looks like the Colts have taken a timeout. That will be their second.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. Sign up for FedEx Delivery Manager. AT&T. And by Macy's.
Well, this would be about a 47-yard field goal from here. So Chuck Pagano taking no chances. He sends out his rookie punter, Rigoberto Sanchez, to try to angle this one. And he sticks it right into the snow. Amazing. 29 yards on the punt as Sanchez getting a lucky break. Well, that lake effect snow continues to come down. It is deep on certain parts of the field as the grounds crew during the breaks have come out to try to clear the yard line markers, but everywhere else it is deep. As we go back downstairs to Steve Tasker. Steve?
Yeah, during the first half of this game, in the pregame warm-ups, there was no snow on the field. Now there's a full 6 inches in between the stripes that you see them trying to keep clear between plays. That last punt dropped, and it just absolutely got washed in the snow. And it didn't, you don't have to worry about a bounce or anything. It hit like a beanbag. It just dropped and stopped. It was a perfect punt by the Colts, set up the Bills with horrible field position.
And Steve, we saw during the breaks players trying to run in position, and Sean McCoy just trying to keep his body warm. Such difficult playing conditions for these players. And you talked about playing in the snow. You said that the hardest part was in between plays during stoppages during those long TV timeouts.
Yeah, you know, I don't really think the coldness isn't too much of a factor. Guys are used to playing in this stuff. It just, you know, not being sure where your feet are and not being able to trust your feet and being able to react. You know, the guys on the defensive line, you know, trying to hold those double teams and try and hold the point without sliding out of there. You know, all those little details is really what comes into play when you're playing in a game like this.
Field position now certainly concerned for Sean McDermott as Peterman's going to throw it on 3rd and 7. That pass getting away from him a little bit too high. Intended for his tight end Charles Clay, and it will be 4th and 7. As the Colts getting good pressure that time from their DN Margus Hunt.
Not a great matchup. Margus Hunt, who is kind of a behemoth over there, matched up with LaShawn McCoy. McCoy goes down low to try and cut him at the knees, but Hunt has a presence there and forces Peterman to throw the ball too high.
Now, this is a very dangerous circumstance for the Bills as Colton Schmidt has to punt from the back of the end zone. The long snapper is Reed Ferguson here. Well done on the snap. And Schmidt able to get it off cleanly. As this one will once again just kind of stick in the snow after a 39-yard punt. Good field position for the Colts. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, we'll send you to New York. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, and Coach Cower standing by. They'll get you all the latest NFL scores and highlights as Week 14 continues. It's all next on the Verizon Halftime Report. Little play action from Brissett. This will be only his second pass attempt of the half. You see that Bills sideline pleading for a flag here as Brissett was still within the tackle box.
Passer was beyond the tackle box and threw the ball beyond the line of scrimmage. scrimmage. There is no foul.
All right, so the officials deem that he was indeed outside of that tackle box, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Lowe's. Hurry in today for huge savings on all things winter. And by Tostitos. Tostitos gives back to Salvation Army.
Back with you in snowy western New York. As that lake effect snow continues to come down, not much of a passing attack for either of these teams as expected. As Jacoby Brissett and Nate Peterman battling the elements here at New Era Field. Last scoreless first half, by the way, in an NFL game almost 6 years ago to the day, December the 11th, 2011, a game in Denver between the Bears and the Broncos. As we play scoreless here with 2 minutes left in the half.
And now
we have been told that the officials have now indeed called an intentional grounding penalty against Brissett. As now you can see Pagano getting the explanation. And this was our vantage point initially. It certainly appeared as though he was within the tackle box.
Second down. Second down.
the only reason why they called that is because he was under pressure and got hit late. If he would have just thrown that away, I think that's a pretty tough call right there. But T.Y. Hilton was well covered, double covered deep into the secondary, and there was really nowhere for Brissett to throw the ball.
So the Colts with it from their own 45-yard line. You'll have to take our word for it. 2nd and 20. There's Frank Gore able to pick up a minimal gain of 4. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Lowe's. Well, Tre'Davious White doing some dancing during the break, getting these fans charged up. What a season White has had, the rookie out of LSU. Certainly in the conversation for Defensive Rookie of the Year with the season he's had. 3rd and 16, they'll just keep it on the ground again to Gore. Going nowhere, tackled by Matt Milano. As we'll get a break, back in 30 seconds after this from Garmin. Another Indianapolis drive stalls. Rigoberto Sanchez, the rookie punter out of Hawaii, who are to take over for Pat McAfee, who of course stunned the Colts when he announced his retirement in the offseason at the age of 29. Sanchez has had a very good year. Had a great punt on his last one, but this one will take a Buffalo bounce into the end zone. And so the Bills will have it from their own 20, a 46-yard punt. Another reminder to keep it here. The Verizon halftime report comes your way next. JB and the fellas standing by, nice and toasty in our New York studios. Get you caught up around the league, scores and highlights on the Verizon halftime report. Adam, how you holding up, brother?
Oh, I'm holding up just great. I'm kind of built for this. I don't think you know that, but
well, you were born in Wyoming, right? You spent the first part of your childhood there as a kid. And
I've
kind of hardened you for.
It did, yeah. You know, Warriors come out of Wyoming, but I am 100% Arizona blood. I tell you what, this is not my cup of tea unless I'm on a mountain somewhere.
We're somewhere there kind of upstairs in the booth. It's been snowing in our booth today. I mean, you really feel like you're a part of the elements here in Buffalo. And these are blizzard conditions for most any other people around the country, not for these folks in western New York. This is just kind of lake effect snow and something that these good folks are used to in this part of the country. Marcus Hunt on the tackle. And LaShawn McCoy just trying for any kind of positive yardage here. And it appears as though Chuck Pagano will take a timeout to try to play the field position game here and perhaps get one last chance before the end of the half. Till next Sunday, the NFL postseason picture continues to heat up. First, most of you will see Cincinnati clash with Minnesota or the Jets battle New Orleans. And then a huge showdown in the Steel City. This is a game that everyone's been talking about the last few weeks. The AFC's top 2 teams, New England and Pittsburgh, squaring off. The winner will take hold of the top seed in the conference. JB, Phil, Coach Nate, and Boomer break down all of the playoff scenarios. NFL Today next Sunday, noon Eastern, right here on CBS. Steve Tasker told us it was about a half-foot of snow on the field earlier. And this is McCoy leapfrogging a defender. Incredible play by McCoy in the snow. Finally forced out of bounds after a pickup of 22.
Boy, Jordan Mills, number 79, the right tackle, gets the key block, and then it's McCoy doing it on his own. A beautiful little hurdle out there. A really good block on the outside from his wide receiver, Deontay Thompson. And that's the kind of play that they need to jumpstart this offense in a 2-minute situation. The Bills have no timeouts left.
It was Kenny Moore, the man who McCoy jumped over on a remarkable run. And here's McCoy again, shading in the open field. And finally tackled inside Indianapolis territory by Darius Butler as McCoy gashes him for 25 more yards.
Yep. Now, if they're prepared, they'll run a play here. There's no reason whatsoever to spike the ball with 1 minute left on the clock. Call your play, get going.
Bills are out of timeouts. Mike Tolbert, as McCoy gets a breather here. McCoy stays in bounds, or Tolbert rather, so the clock's still running. 48 seconds. Jabal Sheard on the tackle.
It's going to run about 20 seconds off the clock here. And this play probably has to be a pass.
Peterman will just spike it and stop the clock with 38 seconds left to play before halftime.
You know, I don't know if I really loved that sequence there because, you know, McCoy hits him with 2 big runs, and they hurry up to run a play with Mike Tolbert in the game. He doesn't get any yards, and then you end up spiking. I think if you're going to spike it, and that was kind of your plan, then spike it after first down. But now you're sitting here at, you know, 3rd down and 6. It was a wasted down, in my opinion, for the Bills.
This is where that game management's so critical. And Sean McDermott looks on. Peterman to the airs as he finds Benjamin. And he is inbound, say the officials.
This is what they've been missing in their offense. A guy that can catch the ball while covered. Because of that frame, beautiful location by Peterman. Puts it on, not really the back shoulder, but leads them to the backside. And then Benjamin kind of does what he does. Goes up and gets the football. And boy, what a drive. LaShawn McCoy starts it off. He kind of strikes the match. And then Kelvin Benjamin comes down with a huge grab. I mean, outside of one pass to Charles Clay, every ball today has gone to Benjamin. He's caught a slant early in the game. They haven't been able to connect, but you go downfield one-on-one, great throw, beautiful catch, and the Bills are working with something.
There's an injured Indianapolis defender. As you can see, it's Kenny Moore, one of their rookie corners, thrust into a starting role today with Rashawn Melvin injured with a hand injury that he sustained just a couple of weeks ago as the athletic trainers now for the Colts onto the field. But what a pass, back shoulder by Peterman, and Benjamin going airborne for the catch. You see Moore was the man on the coverage, and all of Benjamin's weight coming right down on Moore, full force, as he continues to be looked at.
You see how hard it is for Moore to adjust his feet in those conditions. And I tell you, if Benjamin can be healthy and Peterman gets the passing game going and, you know, obviously better conditions, this is what they have wanted to see out of their passing game. Somebody who could win down the field in one-on-one situations.
21-yard hookup between Peterman and Benjamin. So Moore will gingerly walk to the Indianapolis sideline. They're already thin at the cornerback position. We mentioned no Melvin today. Pierre Desir was shut down this week due to injury. Done for the year with that torn pectoral that he suffered last week. And so another rookie, Nate Hairston, now comes on for Kenny Moore.
And that throw right there, Peterman needed that throw. You know, hasn't had a chance to really show his stuff, but when they needed it, kind of get some confidence back that he lost against the Chargers, that was a big-time throw for a young quarterback.
Bills have to be careful here. No timeouts. Peterman to the end zone. It's caught by Benjamin. Touchdown. And suddenly this Buffalo offense coming alive as Peterman and Benjamin find their chemistry.
So tough. The Bills have not had this kind of a wide receiver who's 6'5" and can dominate smaller corners. This is a huge threat in the red zone and down the field in one-on-one matchups. And another beautiful ball in the snow from Nathan Peterman. Well, you can see right there, Chris Melton just does not have a chance. In terrible position. Again, put it up there where only Benjamin can get the ball. And what a beautiful drive. Started off by McCoy and finished with Benjamin and Peterman.
Benjamin acquired in that Halloween trade with Carolina. Picked some kind of a time to come up with his first touchdown reception as a Buffalo Bill. Obviously difficult for the officials to determine whether players are in or out of bounds. They take another look there, and Benjamin confirmed in the end zone for the Bills touchdown. This is Steven Hauschka now on for the point after. And certainly no certainties in this kind of a weather. Reed Ferguson, the long snapper. Colton Schmidt, their punter, is the holder, and Hauschka is good to tack on the extra point. And these fans having a good old time throwing that snow around in the stands. And Sean McDermott's Bills in front 7-0.
That's a pretty remarkable drive when you think about how it started. On the 20-yard line with no timeouts. And they chose to run the football. They had 3 plays on that drive of 20 or more yards. But it's pretty amazing that they were able to get those explosive plays. And I know that Sean McDermott and Rick Dennison, the offensive coordinator, have really tried to figure out how to get their explosive plays up here in the last 5 games of the season. It's a perfect start.
That was Buffalo's first score this season from a drive that began from their own 20 or in. It happens on their 24th such possession of the season. First, LaShawn McCoy doing it with his legs, and then Kelvin Benjamin coming alive as he and Peterman combine on a couple of 20-plus yard pass plays. The second resulting in Benjamin's first touchdown catch as a Bill.
And really, both of those throws with beautiful touch and finesse to put it in that perfect place for his big wide receiver.
See the long touchdown drought that the Bills offense had suffered through, the longest streak in the league before that score. First touchdown since the first quarter of week 12. That's Zay Jones' 11-yard touchdown catch.
This is
against Kansas City.
This is hilarious. This is pretty unbelievable. Josh Ferguson, he's trying to get going. He gets tackled by the snow. Oh my goodness.
Well, it's certainly a lot funnier from up here when you got to deal with it as a player.
It looked like he was running like a 5'5", 40-yard dash right there.
22 seconds left to play. Chuck Pagano will take no chances. Brissett will take a knee, and that will do it. One of the most briskly moving first halves of a game that we've seen in a long time. So many run plays as that lake effect snow continues to fall here at New Era Field in Orchard Park. 7-0 Bills as we go downstairs to Steve.
Coach, have you ever had any kind of, there's no way to prepare for this. What's your message?
Just, hey, be mentally tough. You know, you never know what the conditions are, what you're going to get. no different than our military people in terms of what they go through, right? So we got to perform just like they do.
How enormous was the drive just there before halftime, and the fact that Benjamin had the 2 big catches going up high? You see more of that in the second half?
Well, we'll see. That was huge for us to get the ball moving, really flip the field, and then convert in the red zone here.
What's the one message you've got to tell your guys going into the second? What are you going to try and do offensively, defensively? What did you learn from the conditions?
Well, just smart situational football, fundamentally sound football, and play discipline.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, Sean McDermott's Bills trying to keep pace, game out of that final wild card spot in the AFC. We'll take a break. First half highlights from Verizon next.
Want to stay up to date? Hey Siri, show me football scores.
Well, the grounds crew here at New Era Field doing the best that they can, working overtime during the halftime, trying to get as much snow cleared off the field as they possibly can. As we welcome you back to Orchard Park, Spiro Adidas and Adam Archuleta. What a drive by the Bills at the end of that half. Appeared as though maybe they'll just kind of take a knee and run out the clock, but a couple of big runs by McCoy and Benjamin with the touchdown catch.
It was really amazing, especially with the way the game had been going the entire time. You'd think it would be just a back and forth field position game. They're sitting there on their 20-yard line with 0 timeouts, and then McCoy starts it off with a rip of 23 yards. Then he backs it up with another 25-yard run. So McCoy getting this offense going, and a huge shot in the arm right there before halftime.
First half stats. Certainly didn't expect much in the way of a passing game for either of these two offenses. Brissett barely threw it, in fact, as he only attempted 2 passes that entire first half. And you get a 7-0 lead in this kind of a weather. It's almost like 14, as now the pressure is squarely on Brissett and that Indianapolis offense, as they will get the football to begin the second half, as Steven Hauschka will kick it away and get this third quarter started. Told you about what's at stake for the Bills, 6-6. Trying to end this slide that they've been on, 1-4 in their last 5 as they begin the day just 1 game behind the Ravens for that second wild card spot. Josh Ferguson on a pretty good return of 19. Adam, take us back to that last drive.
Well, Bills have been struggling for big plays, but here it is. LaShawn McCoy gets into the secondary. Beautiful little hurdle. And then it's Kelvin Benjamin back in the lineup and targeted 2 times in a row. Beautiful fade passes, one-on-one, and that is a perfect drive in these conditions for Sean McDermott's Buffalo Bills.
Saul McDermott, the 43-year-old rookie head coach, born in Omaha, Nebraska, but he grew up just north of Philly in Lansdale, PA, about 25 miles northwest of Philadelphia. So he's certainly been in cold weather situations. He's had to coach and play in the snow. Not sure he's ever quite faced something like this, as that lake effect snow continues to just dump it down. There was about 6 inches of snow at one point on the field in the first half. The grounds crew, Adam, did the best job that they could, but you just can't keep up with it. It's coming down in waves here so far today. See the total yards. McCoy with those big runs, eclipsing the entire Indianapolis offense as Gore with very little daylight.
The passing game is not completely off the table, and I go back to that drive before half. I like the adjustment by the Bills of, instead of running quick breaking routes, get your one-on-one routes. Now, for the Colts, T.Y. Hilton is their best weapon in the passing game, but he's an in and out of the break guy, a guy that wants to kind of run his routes. He's not a one-on-one down the field guy, 50-50 guy, so they have to find somebody here in this offense who could win those one-on-one matchups down the field.
They'll keep it on the ground again on 3rd and 5. Gore is stuck. Adolphus Washington has made a couple of big plays for McDermott's defense. And on 4th and 4, Pagano will send out his punt team.
He really did. Joe Haig, the right guard, number 73, just get beat. Washington uses his hands, puts it right on the shoulder pads of Haig, gets off the play and makes the tackle for his second big stuff of the game.
So Frank Gore now 21 rushing attempts, 61 yards in these very difficult circumstances. So Sanchez with the punt, and this will take a nice Indianapolis bounce And they will spot it down just outside the 5-yard line. 49 yards of the punt by Sanchez. Well, if you're just popping on with us, it has been a remarkable scene till this point. Already about a half foot to 8 inches of snow here in Orchard Park, New York. They're calling for about a foot of snow before this game is over. And it could be more than that as it continues to come down here at New Era Field. Nathan Peterman under center as the Bills with their first possession of the second half. LaShawn McCoy with a minimal pickup. As Adam would take a look at the Bills' first half drives behind Peterman.
Really what you expect in a game like this. This is a field position game where you're just trying to get there and get some points on the board and hopefully have more than the other team at the end. But it really was that last drive that was pretty amazing, and LaShawn McCoy basically took over, and you saw Kelvin Benjamin and what his potential impact in this offense can be.
Man in motion is Deontay Thompson. On 2nd and 11, McCoy breaks the initial tackle, so slippery in the open field. Antonio Morrison forces him out of bounds. And it will be 3rd down here, and this is where Rick Dennison knows he has to be careful with the field position. Certainly not in his favor on a 3rd and 8.
If they do choose to throw the ball, which I'm not entirely convinced they're going to do that on this play, you're not going to see in-breaking or out-breaking routes. They're going to be all down the field. They're going to keep it outside where only a guy like Benjamin can go up and get the football, but we're not going to see a sophisticated passing concept.
We'll take a chance here. Little rollout. Peterman throws across his body and finds Clay, the tight end. Forced out of bounds by Matthias Fardley as Buffalo able to move the sticks, a pickup of a dozen.
John Bostic, the linebacker, number 57, has to see that. Play action away, bootleg, and Charles Clay is going to delay, come out, and that's an easy throw for Peterman. There's nobody around Clay, and he's able to pick up the easy first down. So play action passing because of the running game, and one-on-one balls outside is pretty much what you're going to see when they throw the football.
Travaris Cadet, the lone setback on 1st and 10. This is Cadet. As that snow continues to come down, they call it the lake effect here in western New York. You see kind of almost right in the eye of this inclement weather. And they talk about the snow bands here and the lake effect snow. You can be kind of 20 minutes away from where we are here, and it could be a completely different scene in terms of the weather and the amount of snow. But it's something that these folks here in western New York are certainly used to.
Hey, on.
And this is just kind of another winter day in this part of the country. 2nd and 14, Peterman under center. Well protected near side of the field, and he finds Nick O'Leary. His backup tight end forced out of bounds after a pickup of 9. And suddenly this Buffalo offense, you go back to the last drive of the second half, and now here starting to find some things out offensively as we go downstairs to Steve.
Yeah, one of the things about this, the Bills took the wind in this second half. If they can make any kind of progress here against the wind, it's really going to put the Colts in a hole unless the Colts can tie it here in the 3rd quarter. Chuck Picano told me, hey, it's 4-down territory anytime we're past midfield, and you got to know that the Buffalo Bills are thinking the exact same thing.
All right, Steve, our brave sideline reporter bearing the elements as he did so many times here as a player. Jonathan Hankins on the tackle of LaShawn McCoy. And on 4th down, Sean McDermott will send out Colton Schmidt and his punt team.
There was a point in the 2nd quarter where the wind and the snow started to die down a little bit. So you think maybe now some more passes are going to start to make their way in the offense. But here, now to start this 3rd quarter, the wind's blowing pretty good. The snow is out there, so it's going to be pretty conservative out there as far as the passing game goes.
Here's Schmidt. Such difficult circumstances to punt in this game as it takes a pretty decent bounce for the Bills and a 50-yard punt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Hanes with Fresh IQ Advanced Odor Protection Technology. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, these loyal Buffalo Bills fans sitting in despite the weather.
That's comedy.
They are a hardened group here in Western New York as their Bills trying to stay alive in the postseason chase in the AFC. Little play action. Brissett, only his third attempted pass in this game as he completes to the tight end, Brandon Williams, and we go downstairs once again to Steve.
Oh, Adam, one of the things you know about this as players, we've probably got it better than any of the fans in the stands. We got these space heaters that are sitting here behind me. Players will come over between series and get warmed up. Also, the heated benches. While it sounds nice to have a heated bench, believe me, those things are not as efficient as you'd like them to be. And I'll tell you, the thing that warmed up this Buffalo Bills sidelines the most was that Kelvin Benjamin touchdown to close out the first half.
Yeah, Steve's 7-point lead in this kind of weather seems to be even more than that as this Indianapolis offense desperately tries to find some traction. Frank Gore with a 7-yard burst. That's his 22nd attempt of the day. His career high 31 rushing attempts as they continue to lead on Frank Gore.
Yeah, but both teams, and I think you saw that on that last play, Brissett play action bootleg, those plays are going to work because the linebackers now, they're so geared up against the run that these tight ends are able to get open.
Play action from Brissett. Able to find his tight end, Jack Doyle. But he is unable to make anything happen after the catch. Matt Milano was there. The rookie linebacker, 5th-round pick out of Boston College. So it's a pickup of only a yard. Milano, one of the players whom Sean McDermott wants to take a closer look at here over the final few weeks of the season. And he'll come off the field, put that jacket on, and try to warm up.
Single. White 20. Set.
25-year-old Jacoby Brissett, 12th career start. This is Gore running left. Not much room to maneuver. Tackled by DeAndre Coleman. And it will be 3rd and 8.
I looked just for a second that Gore was going to have some space. The linebacker to that side slipped on the ground at the snap of the ball, but I believe it was Jerry Hughes who has kind of flipped his profile a little bit this year, has always been a great pass rusher, but this year has been the guy making the impact as a run player, is able to penetrate, get in the backfield, and get to Gore. But there you go, 3rd and 8. And the Colts have to think about putting this ball in the air. Watch for T.Y. Hilton and a shallow cross.
Hilton, the man in motion. Brissett faked the initial handoff. He'll try to run for it, stumbling out of bounds, and he's well short. Brissett picks up only 3. Run out of bounds as Ryan Davis was applying the pressure for the Bills.
He's trying to get his tight end, Jack Doyle, on a corner route, and it was really well played by Ramon Humber, the linebacker to that side. You had really good pursuit down the line of scrimmage and just not enough room for Brissett to pick up that first down, but really good drive there from the Buffalo defense playing those plays.
Just 111 total yards of offense for the Colts till this point. The rookie punter Sanchez, who's been busy, back on the field, and he's pretty good. All things considered, 6 and change left, quarter number 3. Now your statistical leaders for the Bills: Nate Peterman's 2nd career NFL start for the injured Tyrod Taylor, and LaShawn McCoy has hit the century mark. 37th such game of his NFL career. You knew that they'd lean on him, and he has come through those 2 big runs at the end of the first half as he now has moved over the 100-yard mark. And we go downstairs once again to Steve Tasker.
One of the things about this game that you don't think about, you see the players here, they've always breaking a sweat, they're always working hard. The thing that's killing me, you see things you've never seen before. The shovel crew here at New Era Field is gassed. They're trying to run back and forth across the field to keep this thing cleared. Between plays, they're taking a knee, sucking down Gatorade and everything. I mean, I've never seen anything like this game. It's taking a toll on everybody.
Steve, they should get hazard pay. Certainly some overtime for what they've had to endure to date. Oh, Peterman takes a vicious shot by Antonio Morrison. Jonathan Hankins was there as well, and Peterman is shaken up.
Yeah, Peterman was going to the ground, and it looked like he was going head first. And when you go head first as a quarterback, you are not afforded the same protections as a defenseless player than if you start to slide with your feet first.
Jordan Mills, their starting right tackle, is also shaken up. The Bills only have 2 healthy backup offensive linemen today. Ryan Groy and Connor McDermott, who is a rookie undrafted pick out of UCLA, and McDermott will be the man who comes on here. And of course, their only other healthy quarterback is Joe Webb, with Tyrod Taylor inactive in this game. And this is a mistake that Nathan Peterman just can't afford to make. Diving head first, taking away those protections that the quarterback usually has. Morrison and Jonathan Hankins were there for the Colts.
It looked like for a brief moment right there that Peterman has been knocked unconscious.
So the athletic trainers for the Bills busy. We'll step aside.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sonic. This is how you Sonic. And by Verizon. Best gifts on the best network.
Well, Nathan Peterman is being evaluated in the medical tent. This was the hit that he took. Diving head first, so no protections afforded to the quarterback. Antonio Morrison getting his money's worth with that hard hit. And also injured on the play was Jordan Mills, number 79, their usual starting right tackle. You'll see him kind of fall down to the turf right in the middle of your picture. And so only 2 healthy available backup offensive linemen. One of them is in now for Mills. Connor McDermott, the rookie, and Joe Webb has come on at quarterback for Peterman. Of course, no Tyrod Taylor today, out with that knee injury sustained last week, as we check in with Steve.
Yeah, Nathan Peterman came off the field. They put a big cape on him to keep him warm, but there's no question. At the very least, he had to lay on the ground for a minute to collect himself. He was not steady on his feet coming off the sidelines. He went straight to the evaluation tent. In fact, the only time he actually looked like he perked up is when he knew he was supposed to go into the tent. But he's still in there, still being evaluated. Also, Jordan Mills went down on that exact same play, so that was a little bit of a catastrophe for the Buffalo Bills to end that drive.
It's a battle of attrition at this point, and you certainly have to feel for Peterman finally getting another chance after that disastrous performance in Los Angeles 3 weeks ago as Buffalo boots it away. We go to New York and another update here with James Brown.
Now Funches.
Yeah, it's Devin Funches. He's going to take this 18-yard completion. Look at Cam in the pocket, in, out, biding time, all upper body, 18 yards, 21-13. Carolina leads over Minnesota.
Big matchup indeed. Spiro, Adam, and Steve.
That was a video game-like maneuver from Cam Newton. What a play. And a huge game with the NFC.
That NFC South is something else, isn't it? Unreal.
You can't make any of those kind of maneuvers in this kind of playing condition in Buffalo as that lake effect snow continues to come down. Brissett putting some air under it. And that pass is incomplete. They're intended for Ross Travis, their tight end.
Well, trying to isolate Jordan Poyer on the tight end, man-to-man coverage, but Poyer, boy, both of these two safeties, Poyer and Micah Hyde, have had one heck of a year. Both of them coming over in free agency and have settled in and has been a big reason why this secondary has had such a great season.
And before the season, neither of those two players had ever been kind of every down starters in the NFL, and that makes the story for both of them even more impressive. As meantime, this Indianapolis offense, Adam, just desperately tries to get anything going here. And there you see Peterman being escorted into the Buffalo locker room.
That's unfortunate for Nathan Peterman. He was playing pretty good in this game considering what he was up against. Now, I know you got to be conservative and it's snow and the weather, but if the Colts are going to have a chance of moving the football, they're going to have some production in the passing game as well. They will not just be able to run this football down the field.
Brissett from the gun on 3rd and 10, and he is hit on the release. The pass is incomplete. Brissett somehow able to get rid of the football to avoid the sack, as Kyle Williams was bringing the heat for the Bills.
Well, Brissett, one of his issues is that he holds the ball too long. The right guard, my telestrator doesn't work because of the cold. Joe Haig is matched up with Kyle Williams, and that's just an effort sack. Brissett has to get rid of the ball, but Williams is too tenacious. He's able to beat the guard and get to Brissett.
You and your telestrators tapped out today. 6th punt of the day for Sanchez. As this one will take a little mini Colts bounce, and they will field it after a 42-yard punt by Sanchez. Coming up Thursday, it'll be Denver and these Indianapolis Colts. Quick turnaround for Indy. Thursday Night Football, NFL Network, NBC, and streaming live on Amazon Prime Video. You know, Peterman had to walk into the locker room because the carts can't get through the snow here. Usually a player who's being evaluated, as Peterman was, would be carted into the locker room for precautionary measures. But even that snowplow, or that cart rather, is snowed in, so difficult to get around as the grounds crew continues to try to dig this field out from under all that snow. So Joe Webb, at least for the moment, is the Bills quarterback, usually their number 3 signal caller. But with no Tyrod Taylor and now Peterman being looked at in the locker room, it's the Joe Webb Show, the former 6th-round pick of the Vikings back in 2010, who prior to last week had not attempted a pass at him since 2011.
And he's really kind of an interesting guy because, you know, he's a 3rd-string quarterback, but he's been kind of their special team standout and leads the team in special team snaps. So it's not like he's just been sitting on the bench. This guy has gotten in a lot of action. He just hasn't thrown the football.
We'll hand off here, and this is Tolbert. Look at big Mike Tolbert. Football is loose. Who's got it at the end of the play? And Indianapolis recovers. What a swing that was. Tolbert on a 23-yard sprint and then coughs it up.
Oh, I think as Barkevius Mingo comes in, number 52. He punches the ball out with his right hand, and then he's also the guy that was able to recover the fumble. I mean, that thing broke wide open. Tolbert just ran right over the safety, the free safety on that play. That's Matthias Farley, but Mingo comes in because Tolbert does not secure the football, and a huge turnover caused there for the Colts defense.
Boy, how big has Mingo been for the Colts defense since John Simon was shut down due to injury for the season, that stinger/shoulder injury. And what a gigantic defensive play by Barkevius Mingo.
John Simon was one of their best players in the early part of the year.
This is Frank Gore. You know, suddenly the Colts have some life. Down 7 as we come up on the final 2 minutes of this 3rd quarter. Gore able to pick up 5 before he's tackled by Kyle Williams.
Well, Rod Chudzinski, the offensive coordinator, has to be a little bit creative and use the play action in the bootlegs. I'm not sure how many of those concepts they have in the game plan for this game, but I'm not sure that they're going to be able to win many matchups on the outside. So the backs and the tight ends have to make some plays here in the passing game.
Little play action from Brissett. Bootleg on the rollout, completes to the tight end. That's Brandon Williams, the 50th man out of Oregon, who came into the league undrafted with the Panthers back in 2013. So he knows Sean McDermott pretty well. A pickup of only 3, and it will be a critical 3rd down and 2 coming up here.
Yeah, 3rd and 2, so running is certainly an option here for the Indianapolis Colts, and I would imagine that they are, in fact, going to keep this thing on the ground. You got Jack Doyle lined up as a fullback.
On 3rd and 2, they indeed call Gore's number. Gore breaks the tackle, and that second burst will be enough for the Indianapolis 1st down. What a play by Gore. 3 hard-fought yards to move the sticks.
Well, it really was, because they wanted to run this ball to the right behind their right guard, and it was completely stacked up. The Buffalo Bills came in. You had a great fit right there by Kyle Williams, but Gore is able to just spin out of it, hit the backside, and pick up the first down.
White 20, good.
Brissett has time, throws far side of the field, incomplete. Intended for Ross Travis. As the clock stopped, 26 seconds left to play in this third quarter.
They keep trying to isolate the safeties outside. The Colts are not going to win outside in this game. If they want to attack, they have to attack the linebackers inside. That's where their matchups are going to be, but those are low percentage plays out there for a team that, they haven't been a good fade team here offensively, but they've got to go more inside in this game.
28th ranked scoring offense in the league, averaging just 17 points per game. This is Gore, able to fight his way through a tiny space into the teeth of that Bills defense, tackled by Adolphus Washington. And that could be the final play of the quarter as Gore picks up 5. A dramatic scene here in western New York. That lake effect snow continues to come down as the Colts and the Bills battle it out here in Week 14 on CBS. Back with you from this winter wonderland in western New York. That wind whipping around certainly has been a huge factor, almost as big a factor as the snow itself. As we are approaching nearly a foot of snow here at New Era Field. Spiro Ditas, Adam Archuleta, rest of our CBS crew, and again, a tip of the cap to our cameraman and our entire crew braving the elements here to bring you these pictures. Brissett, nice little pump fake to free himself. Will throw towards the end zone. Boy, he has a man, but it appeared as though they ran out of room. It was Chester Rogers on the catch, but he had moved through the back of the end zone out of bounds.
Well, it was a terrific effort from Brissett to try and find Rodgers, but you can see clearly he was not able to get both feet in bounds for that catch. They were trying to get their tight ends involved on another bootleg action, but it was really well covered by the Buffalo Bills defense. Chester Rogers is staying with it, but just runs out of field. That could have been a big play.
I forgot to mention Steve Tasker, who's braving the elements more than any, certainly more than you and I are.
Steve,
so we give Steve a shout out.
He's really showed me something here today,
Well, we knew Steve was way tougher than, we knew he was tougher than me. But he's been dealing with that snow and wind down on the field and these freezing temperatures as now the Colts will think about it here. Adam, on a 4th and 5 as that conversation now starts to heat up. 1 week from today, the highly anticipated matchup between the two heavyweights in the AFC. Tom Brady and the Patriots heading to Pittsburgh to take on Big Ben and the Steelers. Kickoff next Sunday, 4:25 Eastern Time, right here on CBS. Both teams currently 10-2, and the winner will take control of that top seed in the AFC.
I'm still surprised they haven't found a way to get T.Y. Hilton involved.
4th and 5. Brissett trying to buy himself some time, throws the football, and it is incomplete. Chester Rogers trying to make the catch, and Indianapolis will turn it over on downs. Well, it's been 17 seasons since the Bills have been to the playoffs. Their last postseason win, 1995. The Bills beating Miami 37-22 in the AFC wildcard game. And how about that catch? Steve Tasker over the shoulder on a 37-yard bomb from Jim Kelly, and the celebration was on. Thurman Thomas and all those greats. And so the Bills would move on, and little did they know at the time that this postseason drought would take hold. But this is where the Bills sit currently here in Week 14, tied with the Chargers and Oakland. 1 game back of the Ravens for that second wild card position. And so the Ravens begin the day at 7-5. Joe Webb still at quarterback as Nathan Peterman being evaluated in that Bills locker room. This is LaShawn McCoy. Steve, what do you remember about that game?
Yeah, interesting. The thing I remember about it most, interestingly enough, was that was Don Shula's final game as the Miami Dolphins head coach, and seems that long ago, but one of the great all-time coaches of all time, called it quits after that game, and I actually caught a touchdown pass in that game, which was a really rare occurrence, I got to tell you, in my career. But I'm just glad. I tell you, I'm glad that this is the worst game I ever played in, and not that one.
Steve royalty around these parts, as this is LaShawn McCoy, a pickup of 4. Well, if anyone who's just tuned in, as if the weather didn't make this kind of a wild enough game. Now the Bills have to deal with more quarterback injuries. Nathan Peterman leveled on this play by Antonio Morrison. Peterman making the mistake of diving head first to kind of take away the usual quarterback protections that they will have, and now Sean McDermott and Rick Dennison, Adam, really scrambling. Here's Webb under center on 3rd and 5. They'll call McCoy's number again and run out of bounds. So, here's Webb, who's barely taken any offensive snaps this season, now suddenly under center in a huge spot for the Bills.
Yeah, they're just trying to keep it conservative, and, he threw one pass last week. That was a seam route out of the backfield from Tavares Cadet. And looks like that was a first down. What an effort from LaShawn McCoy again. He's broken so many tackles in the backfield and at the line of scrimmage. It's really because of him taking over this football game. The Bills are where they are with a 7-point lead.
Tavares Cadet, the lone setback, as the Bills are able to move the chains. Fresh set of downs. Marcus Hunt on the tackle as we go downstairs again to Steve.
Yeah, as Nathan Peterman was escorted up the tunnel, no question about it. He was not right. They took him right in there, evaluated. Obviously, they take him in off the field when they're being evaluated for a concussion. Still no word on the probability of his return, which seems unlikely at this point. Nevertheless, huge blow for the Buffalo Bills as with Joe Webb at quarterback, their menu of plays has got to be abbreviated, to say the least.
Steve, no doubt, Rick Dennison, their offensive coordinator, had a tough week not really knowing if Tyrod Taylor or Peterman would be his quarterback today. And now he's down to his number 3 man. Is that pass, was it picked? No signal yet, and now they say incomplete. Boy, Quincy Wilson, the rookie corner, and their 2nd-round pick out of Florida, nearly making what would have been a terrific interception.
Yeah, this is supposed to be somewhat conservative, but Benjamin falls, but the ball is way inside. That ball has to be up high or more toward the sideline. Does Wilson get it? No, you easily see that ball falls to the ground. That could have been a huge interception. Those plays right there are the ones that you have to have. I know the conditions aren't great. And now we got Benjamin, who's down, which is not very good.
Benjamin missing the last 2 games with that torn meniscus in his knee. Was hurt in their Week 11 game in Los Angeles against the Chargers. So officially only his 3rd game as a Bill. This was the play in which he was injured in that game. It was very early in that Week 11 game that the Bills lost convincingly. Taking a shot right above that right knee, tearing the meniscus, an injury that did not require surgery. And right now the athletic trainers will continue to look at him on that Bill sideline.
Yeah, it looks like he just kind of falls. Doesn't really look like anything significant happened to cause that.
So Andre Holmes at the moment replaces him. This is McCoy. Once again, breaking tackles on a 3rd and 9. Appears to be a little bit short of the first down marker. A pickup of 8. Tackled by Darius Butler, and it will be 4th down and 1.
Jabal Sheard has to be frustrated with that run because he was the free hitter and had a chance to get McCoy. But even in the snow, you see that little shake. And McCoy's ability to break free from would-be tacklers.
Really nothing to think about here, Adam. If you're Sean McDermott, you go for it.
You know what? I think in this situation, I like giving it to McCoy. Let the offensive line fire off the ball.
Let's see if they'll even snap the football here. And you see the movement. That was Vladimir Dukas, who appeared to come across prematurely.
That's number 62. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
That certainly changes things, as now Sean McDermott will send out Colton Schmidt and will punt.
Looks like they were just maybe getting ready to sneak it. Jordan Mills, the right tackle, not very happy about that.
Well, Mills, who had to leave the game earlier with what appeared to be a leg injury, back on for the Bills, so good news there. Meantime, here is Schmidt. Back deep to return for the Colts is Chester Rogers, standing just outside his own 10. Good looking punt in the weather by Schmidt, and Rogers, as we have seen multiple times today, losing his footing on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar. Garmin. Get a Garmin smartwatch and beat yesterday. And by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry.
Well, some of the incredible pictures that we've been bringing to you from our brave cameramen and women here in Buffalo. 1st and 10. This is Brissett. Little rollout, incomplete. Off the hands of Brandon Williams. Now, this was Kelvin Benjamin on the sideline trying to work out that knee. Of course, he had to deal with the torn meniscus in his right leg, sustained in the loss to the Chargers out in LA back in week 11. So far has accounted for the only score in this game, a 21-yard touchdown catch from Nathan Peterman late in the first half. This is Gore. And the question now for the Colts, Adam, is can they move the football down the field and somehow get into the end zone?
Well, it's not looking promising because they were running the ball fairly effectively in the beginning part of the game, completely abandoning the passing game. But right now, they've tried to get their tight ends involved. Really haven't had a lot of opportunities. The Bills linebackers and safeties have really done a nice job in coverage, so not a lot of passing opportunities, and I just don't think they're going to be able to win outside.
Only 2 of 11 on 3rd downs today. This is Gore wiggling through some space. What a run by Gore. We'll see where the officials spot the football, and they say 1st down, Indianapolis.
Boy, it was. What an effort. Now, again, it's going to have to be Frank Gore. He's going to have to carry this thing and make runs like this. Not an easy run, but he finds the hole backside, is able to get up in there, and comes down with another big run. Boy, he is playing extremely well. And they need him to be a big factor here in this 4th quarter.
Quick strike, straight pass set up Brissett to Rogers. A minimal pickup. Speaking of Frank Gore, of course, 1 week removed from moving past a couple of Hall of Famers, Jerome Bettis and LaDainian Tomlinson last week. Now 5th all-time on the NFL's career rushing list. Just remarkable when you consider where he was, a couple of devastating knee injuries in college. This is an incredible career.
And really, especially this year and last year, he's really had to turn into a grinder here for the Colts.
Marlon Mack on the take. And it will be 3rd down coming up for the Colts. By the way, if you've just joined us, T.Y. Hilton does not have a catch yet in this game. Certainly you didn't expect a big day from their receivers. But Hilton hasn't played many games without a catch.
Yeah, his whole game is getting in and out of routes, using his speed, breaking down a defensive back. That's going to be neutralized in this game, but I'm still surprised they haven't tried to run him across the formation, get him some shallow crossers, get him a chance to run away to the inside from both of these cornerbacks in this game.
Here's Brissett throwing sideline, and it is caught right on cue. It's Hilton. Officials spot it. Yeah, they do say first down Colts.
It's a tough play for Tre'Davious White trying to get out of that break. You see how slow he is coming out? He just can't plant that foot in about a foot of snow. And that's just the amount of room that Hilton needs to come down with that catch. Nicely executed, but that's just White and his inability to come out of that break.
White 20, good.
On 1st and 10, Brissett play action after faking to Gore. Sidesteps the sacker, and then he's brought down. Tripped up right around the legs. A fantastic defensive play by Ryan Davis.
This really is a great play. Number 56 on the left side playing defensive end. He's going to fight through a double team, and then he's going to try and beat the block right there of the tight end, fall off, and then get to Brissett. You know, they were trying to set up a long developing play to hit Jack Doyle on the backside, but again, the Bills secondary, their back seven covered it, and there was nowhere for Brissett to throw the football.
Second sack of the season for Davis, a huge play for this defense. And that time, Gore is stuffed. Matt Milano making first contact. And this Buffalo defense that held the Patriots last week in check. About as well as you could expect. Sacked Tom Brady 3 times. Now starting to come alive as they continue to pitch a shutout.
Yeah, they really have. Up front, they've been able to get off blocks. And the secondary really has been all over all of the different passing concepts that the Colts have tried to throw at them. So it's been a great team effort so far.
4 down territory.
I think this is really tough here. Not at 3rd and 15.
We'll see what they do. 3rd and 15. Little underneath check down to Gore. Take it on tacklers. Gore very close to midfield, a pickup of 10. And maybe that makes the decision a little bit easier here for Chuck Pagano on 4th and 4.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think this is the right decision. It's going to be tough to pick up 4 yards, but, you know, if it's 3rd and 15, 4th and 15, absolutely not. The question is, do they give it to their workhorse? Do they give it to Gore, who has really been the only thing that has been reliable so far in this game, or do they try and put it in the air? T.Y. Hilton lined up in the slot. Excuse me.
Charge timeout. Buffalo, their first. It will be 30 seconds.
All right, so Sean McDermott will try to get his troops organized here on a 4th and 4 coming up. Colts 1 for 2 on 4th down tries today. As we are now inside of 6 minutes left. Talked about everything at stake for Sean McDermott's Bills. 6-6, game behind the Ravens for that second wild card spot, tied with both the Chargers and the Raiders. And just 3 regular season games left after today, including that Week 16 game in Foxborough against the Patriots. We'll see what the Colts do here on 4th and 4. Try to keep their hopes alive. Brissett, quick drop, quick strike, finds Hilton. First down, Colts.
It's a basic dragon route, a flat by the tight end and a slant to Hilton, and beautiful timing. Matt Milano is the inside linebacker. He's supposed to get into that throwing lane. He can't get there in time. The ball was out, and T.Y. Hilton comes down with a first down catch.
Here's Gore. Frustrating season for T.Y. Hilton, of course, unable to play with his usual mate Andrew Luck. All the injuries that they've had, haven't really had a number 2 wide receiver at him to take some of the pressure off his shoulders, but still highly productive in his 6th NFL season.
I'm a little surprised that, you know, given we know the conditions, but I'm a little surprised that they've waited until the 4th quarter to at least attempt throws at T.Y. Hilton. He is one of your best playmakers.
On 2nd and 9, this is Gore taking a shot. Jerry Hughes on the tackle. A pickup of 2. Hughes, of course, who came into the league with the Colts. The 31st overall pick. Spent his first 3 years of his career in Indianapolis. cut his teeth behind Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis as they'll look for one more stop here on 3rd and 6.
Chester Rogers is in the slot next to the tight end. If they can try and get him matched up on a linebacker inside, could work.
Brissett, wobbly pass, and it's incomplete. Appeared to be perhaps a miscommunication between Brissett and Hilton. Not sure if Hilton slipped on that play. Just an impossible set of circumstances for an offensive player to gain traction.
Now you can see T.Y. Hilton slipped, but that ball was going outside. It looks like Brissett expected Hilton to kind of run a back shoulder fade stop out there, but nowhere in the ballpark here. It's 4th and 6.
Brissett on 4th down, steps into the pocket. He's going to try to run for it. Brissett has the first down as he runs out of bounds, a pickup of 8.
Jerry Hughes, the right defensive end, gets inside, gets some pressure, and is almost able to get to Brissett. Can't quite bring him down, but the Buffalo Bills are playing man coverage, and once Brissett gets up there, gets outside the pocket, there's nobody there to rally up and make the tackle.
What a play by Brissett. This will be the 15th play of the drive that began at their own 23. Boy, Gordon nearly fumbled the football. Able to recover, but they lose yardage. Lorenzo Alexander able to make the tackle.
See, Brissett put it right there. Just the bad exchange, bad ball handling by Frank Gore. He's able to corral it, but then, again, it puts them in a second long situation. So a negative play on 1st down, not good there for the Colts.
And with that attempt, Frank Gore now a new career high 32 rushing attempts in this game as he is over the century mark. 104th straight start of his incredible career. Brissett, after muffing that exchange, initially finding T.Y. Hilton. Boy, what a pass by Brissett. Putting some extra velocity on that play. As Hilton covered by Micah Hyde, there is a penalty marker thrown. And we have had very few flags in this game. There was a pickup of 11 if it stands.
Prior to the pass, it was illegal use of the hands to the face, number 92 defense. That's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic 1st down.
Brad Allen is our referee. Adolphus Washington on the penalty. Huge call against the Bills.
Number 92 right in the middle of the screen, and right there putting the left hand right under the face mask. That's an easy call, but T.Y. Hilton on the sideline is able to get his feet down in bounds. A beautiful strike by Brissett. It's pretty amazing what the Colts have done here on 3rd and 4th downs in this drive. Pretty tough situations to be in, but Brissett has been able to make some plays.
Boy, what a penalty that is. Hilton was short of the 1st down, but they get it with the penalty. Only the 3rd total penalty of this game as the Colts continue on this long drive. 1st and 10. This is Gore. Gore still going. Showing that incredible toughness, a pickup of a dozen. And another Indianapolis 1st down.
Boy, he is a warrior up inside. I mean, just think about this. Frank Gore is in his 13th season. How many carries, how much he's been through in these conditions, and he just keeps getting after it.
First and 10. This is Mack as Gore gets a breather. Tackled by Tre'Davious White. And that could take us to the 2-minute warning. The Bills desperately trying to stay in that postseason chase for the wild card, protecting this 7-0 lead on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Here to help life go right. and by Walmart. Rock this Christmas with Walmart.
Coming up on the State Farm postgame show, JB Phil, Nate Boomer, and Coach Cower will get you all the latest NFL scores and highlights. The State Farm postgame show from New York. The Indianapolis Colts looking for their first points, running out of clock with 2 minutes left. Brissett back to the airways. This is Mack, the rookie, showing some wiggle. Forced out of bounds by Tre'Davious White. And we'll see where the officials spot the football. He is inbound, so that clock's still running.
There's absolutely no reason for Mack to be that wide open in the flat. The linebackers to that side, Ramon Humber, has to be able to see him get out there to the flat. There's no pressure on Brissett, and he's able to hit Mack as his outlet receiver.
First and goal, Colts inside the 5. Brissett, little read option play, finds his tight end. It's Doyle for the Indianapolis touchdown. And the Colts on the verge of tying this game. Adam, any thought to a 2-point conversion?
If you want to try and maybe get this game over and either get a win or go home, I don't think there's any thought to missing the extra point from a kicking perspective, but I think it's one of those things where you have the momentum. You've made some great plays on this drive. Guys have been able to make plays, so you ride this if you're Chuck Pagano, and you try and go after this Buffalo defense that is extremely tired right now.
It looks like Pagano, no thought to even attempting the point after. They're going to roll the dice and go for it here to try to win this game, or at least take a lead. With 1:16 left in that play clock, down to 4 seconds now, 3-2, and Pagano signaling for the timeout.
I think you look at it, this is your best drive of the game, and this is your chance and your opportunity, and you really don't have anything to lose at this point if you're the Indianapolis Colts, so 100% on board for trying to get this 2-point conversion.
19 play, 77-yard drive. That takes up nearly 10 minutes of clock as they try to get Brissett warmed up here just for a few seconds. You see the grounds crew coming on the field to try to clear out as much snow as they can. You just can't understand how thick and deep that snow is between the yard lines.
It's like Rocky Balboa training for Ivan Drago in the snow. That's how deep the snow is.
Adam Vinatieri, of course, missed that 33-yard field goal earlier, clearly playing into Pagano's mindset here as they'll go for 2 and try to take the lead, and now Buffalo will take a timeout.
No Frank Gore in the game. It's Marlon Mack with kind of a condensed bunch formation here. So I would be alert if I'm Buffalo for them trying to sneak out Marlon Mack in the flat and try and beat one of the linebackers to the edge.
Well, how huge is this play? Biggest play of the season for the Bills. 1 game back of the Ravens for that second wild card spot, entering play today. Absolute must win for the Bills as they try to keep hope alive. Their 17-season postseason drought that has been hanging over this franchise.
Watch shovel pass to the tight end. Always an option right here.
Brissett, little read option, fakes, throwing end zone. It's Doyle. He's got it. And Indianapolis moves in front. Masterful play by Brissett.
It's 2 plays in a row. The Colts, one on the touchdown where they fake it, get it out to the tight end. There with the 2-point conversion, and the Indianapolis Colts.
A flag has just been thrown by the near side official. Well, some of the fans have been throwing some snowballs down onto the field in that corner of the end zone. Brad Allen is our referee as he now converses with his officiating colleagues to try to determine what the call is here. flag was thrown well after Doyle had converted the catch.
On the play, there was offensive pass interference blocking downfield. We will retry following the 10-yard penalty.
Wow.
Okay, bear with me, no telestrator. Look at the bottom of the screen. It has to be on number 17, Kamar Aiken. He's blocking, but that's within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage.
It was Micah Hyde who was interfered with on the play, according to the officials. And so it appeared to be a converted two-point attempt by Jack Doyle, negated. And now Adam Vinatieri will be sent out by Chuck Pagano to attempt the extra point.
Now, Kamar Aiken ran in there and just put his hands on the defensive player and made no attempt to run the route, but that was within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage. So
Adam, this is a wild scene. The Colts have lined up a little bit too far in front of where they should have, and now they're scurrying back. This will be a 43-yard extra point attempt as they desperately try to clear some of the snow for Vinatieri.
And they missed a 39-yard attempt earlier in the game, that 33-yard attempt earlier in the game that really didn't have much of a chance. So not an easy kick here for the Colts.
Vinatieri, who has struggled historically in this stadium, just 11 of 21 in his career, including that miss earlier from 33 yards out. And now a timeout has been taken by the Colts as they want to give themselves a little bit more time to try to clear out some of that snow. Let's go downstairs to Steve.
This end of the field is almost impossible to kick. If he hits this one, this is a really tough kick for Vinatieri to hit. He missed one going with the wind early in the game. This one is into the wind that notoriously has the wind knocking the ball down and to the left of the kicker. Really a tough kick to hit. If he hits it, it's a heroic kick, even though it's not as long as some he's hit in his career. As you mentioned earlier, he's 11 for 21 career in this building, and I'll tell you what, he's never kicked in worse conditions than this.
Well, he's made some of the toughest kicks in the history of the sport. One of the all-time greats. And he'll put this one certainly at the top of his highlight reel if he could somehow boot it through for the Colts. It'll be a 43-yard attempt to try to tie this game. Extra point from Vinatieri, streaking back right, and it is good. And we are tied at 7. A miraculous kick by Vinatieri. All tied on CBS. Well, Adam Vinatieri has certainly made bigger kicks with the stakes a lot higher than they are here for the Colts at 3-9, but that was incredible. A 43-yard extra point in these conditions to tie the game for Indianapolis. Here's Brandon Tate trying to weave his way up the field to get the Buffalo offense at least decent field position. 15 yards on the return. As we go back to the point after, it appeared to be wide right. Adam, but look at it just kind of wind its way back in. You see the Bills players celebrating.
That
Incredible.
was amazing. That really was amazing.
In a stadium in which Vinatieri has struggled in his career, really more than any other place that he's kicked in his incredible career. Well, meantime, here's Joe Webb. He started the day as their number 2 quarterback behind Nathan Peterman. Peterman out, not returning after he was sent into the locker room. This is Benjamin on a leaping catch, and now they say incomplete. Benjamin running out of real estate as he continues to try to grit his way through that knee injury. It was Quincy Wilson on the coverage.
Almost another incredible effort, boy. Certainly it was pass interference by Wilson at the least, but you can see that Benjamin can't control the ball as he's going to the ground, but
Bills playing with one timeout. Webb able to elude the pressure. His pass is intercepted. It's Matthias Farley for Indianapolis. 9 yards on the return, and Indianapolis with the football. There is a penalty marker thrown.
It was an intercepted pass. The official intended to drop a beanbag to mark the spot. There is no foul on the play. First down.
All right, so the officials will pick up the flag. And Joe Webb thrust into duty with the injury to Peterman with a disastrous play.
Charles Clay coming across the middle, and that play was doomed from the start. You can see that Webb did not have his feet set properly. He just throws the ball out to the right. Charles Clay has absolutely no chance at that ball, and Matthias Farley, the strong safety, comes underneath it and gets a huge pick.
Colts are out of timeouts as they start from the Buffalo 28. 52 seconds left in a tie game. Here is Gore. First 100-yard game of the season. Adam, they run the football with no timeouts, unable to stop the clock.
Yep, you're going to get about 20 seconds run off the clock here, 26 seconds. The Colts seemingly not in a huge rush. Maybe just because of what Vinatieri was able to do on that last kick, they have confidence that they're within his range, but I still think that it's pretty risky here. And I think if you're the Colts, you want to try and get as many yards as possible in this situation to make it easier on your field goal operation.
It would be a 43-yard attempt from here. Well, I'm sure a lot of Colts fans are wondering the same thing. Why not at least take a chance, as Brissett will spike it. And Brissett continues to try to get that right leg warmed up. Another reminder to keep it here for the State Farm postgame show. JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, and Coach standing by. They'll get you around the league as Week 14 continues. All to come on the State Farm postgame show. So here is Vinatieri, who hit the 43-yard point-after attempt just moments ago. And they'll send him out on a 3rd and 7 with 6 seconds left. Luke Rhodes is the snapper. Rigoberto Sanchez the holder. Vinatieri is wide left, no good.
The last one started out wide right and then hooked back in. This one started inside left and just could not make it inside the upright. You know, I think the Colts could have been a little bit more aggressive right there to get some more yardage to make that kick. That is a high degree of difficulty that they put on Vinatieri.
Joe Webb will take a knee, and we are headed to overtime in what has been a wild day here in Buffalo. Indianapolis 7, Buffalo 7. As they will put 10 more minutes back on that clock. Adam Vinatieri hitting the point after from 43, unable to win it. As Chuck Pagano putting all of his faith in his 44-year-old kicker.
Take a show of hands in this stadium of everybody in favor of going to overtime in this game. There is nobody who wants to continue playing this game.
All right, gentlemen, congratulations on a well-played game. I will give you a brief summary of the overtime rules. We will now play one overtime period of up to 10 minutes. It's now 10, rule change this year, in which each team will have the opportunity to possess the ball unless the team first possessing scores a touchdown, there's a defensive score, or that team maintains possession for the entire 10 minutes of overtime. We will utilize fourth quarter timing rules. Each team will have 2 timeouts. All replay is upstairs. Do we have any questions about the overtime rules? Okay, it's the same coin as before. Heads and tails. Indianapolis, I need your option. Heads or tails? Heads. The call is heads. And it is. It is tails. You've won the toss. You'll receive, and which direction will you kick? All right, Buffalo will receive. Here, good luck, gentlemen.
All right, so the Bills win the toss, and they will have possession to begin the overtime. You're watching the NFL on CBS. All these fans braving the elements, certainly in the holiday spirit, having a little fun here at New Era Field. A little photo op as we are headed to overtime between the Bills and the Colts. Spiro Ditas, Adam Marcelletta, Steve Tasker. As the Bills win the toss, they will have the football to begin the overtime period with 10 minutes on the clock. This is Brandon Tate plucking it out of the snow. Tate running it up the field and will get decent field position after a return of 11. Adjusted overtime rules going from the 15-minute to the 10-minute overtime period. A touchdown or a safety on the first possession wins the game. And if the score is tied after each team's first possession, it becomes sudden death. Adam, tough set of circumstances for Rick Dennison, the Bills offensive coordinator. He's down to Joe Webb, who again before last week had not attempted a pass since 2011. Nathan Peterman, their starter today, going down, evaluated for a concussion. No Tyrod Taylor. And of course dealing with these elements as well.
Yeah, I think it's extremely difficult, and LaShawn McCoy really has been everything for this offense. We had some nice grabs here right before halftime by Kelvin Benjamin, but this offense has gone through LaShawn McCoy. And right now, if you're Indianapolis, you know that. So everybody is geared up to stop number 25 because I just don't see Webb attempting many passes downfield.
This will be the 26th rushing attempt for McCoy over the 120-yard mark. And what has been just a tremendous day for him considering the conditions that he's had to play with. Jonathan Hankins on the tackle. And again for Buffalo, you just can't overstate the importance of this game. 6-6, tied with the Chargers and the Raiders as they are one game behind the Ravens for that second wild card spot. And just 3 regular season games left after today. Home to Miami, then in New England, and then back to Miami to finish the season in Week 17. What a game here that they absolutely have to have. This is Webb getting into the open field, running for the first down on a 3rd and 11.
You got to know some sort of quarterback run is happening. Bostic, number 57, he takes his eyes off of Webb. He drops too deep, and then he slips as he tries to react as Webb is breaking the line of scrimmage. But you know right now that the Bills are not going to attempt any passes over the middle. You've got to be more alert than that and not allow the quarterback to run for 11 yards.
Here's McCoy. Joe Webb, the former 6th-round pick who came into the league with Minnesota back in 2010. Bounced around, spent some time in Carolina. Sean McDermott, very familiar with this young man. Someone he thinks very highly of. A rare quarterback who plays so much on special teams. Actually, he's played more special team snaps than anyone on McDermott's roster. And what a spot he's been thrust into here, tied at 7 in overtime.
And I would not imagine that they're going to call any pass plays over the middle. It's going to be extremely conservative, and I would use his legs and get him running the ball.
Here's Webb on 2nd and 9, trying to weave his way through that Indy defense. A pickup of 3 here. And tackled by John Bostic, and it will be 3rd and 5.
This goes back to the old time single wing football where they only had like 3 plays and the quarterback ran 2 of them. I mean, that's kind of what the Buffalo Bills offense is right now.
Kind of an archaic version of how they used to try and run the football before they invented the forward pass.
It is certainly a thinned out playbook, all things considered. Injured Colt is Jonathan Hankins. This has been a Colts team ravaged by injuries. 31 different players they've had to place on injured reserve this season. Of course, headlined by Andrew Luck.
It's calmed down a little bit, so you can throw the ball here, but
Hey, Mike 44.
it was not a great attempt on that last interception.
Webb faking to McCoy. Nearly lost his footing. He's going to try to run for it. Out of bounds as he picks up a Bills first down.
Jabal Sheard, first he loses his footing, number 93 on that side, and then he just takes the cheese. He goes inside, everybody plays run, and Webb is all alone on the corner on the quarterback keeper. So I think that's the kind of game this has to be on this drive. Mix in Webb, mix in McCoy. Pretty much go about it that way, but that's really about the only options that Sean McDermott has at this point.
McCoy going backwards. Good push by that Indianapolis front. Marcus Hunt, who has been so good for Chuck Pagano's defense this season, the former second-round pick of the Bengals, dumping McCoy for a loss of 3.
He really has. He's had a pretty big game here today. He's been involved in a lot of stops. They really haven't been able to move him off of the football. He's had some pressure. He showed up today there in the trenches.
Hey, Mike 44.
McCoy trying to cut back, breaking a tackle. McCoy just incredibly slippery once he gets into that open terrain. 8 yards. It was Terrell Basham who had McCoy in his sights, and somehow Shady able to slip away.
Yeah, pretty unreal because Marcus Hunt stacked it up on the front side. Basham had a chance coming from the backside, but McCoy, both he and Frank Gore in this game have played it like two warriors at running back.
McCoy, that
Mike 44,
playground run style that he's had.
Watch the quarterback run.
Read option play as Webb hands to Cadet. And appears to be short. A pickup of 3, and that'll set up a 4th down here as we move inside of 5 minutes left.
Now, I would imagine they're going to run the same thing here.
And it looks like McDermott will send out his punter.
I don't know. I think at this point you got to go for it. I think you have an option. You have an opportunity to pick up this first down with Joe Webb as your wildcat-like quarterback. And at this point, I'm not sure that I like this call.
Buffalo with everything to play for, a game that they have to win on the Indianapolis 41-yard line. And now McDermott at least was going to think about it a little bit longer. Buffalo is going to have any chance to sneak into the playoffs. This is a game that they have to win. Spiro Ditas, Adam Marcelletta, Steve Tasker, our entire CBS crew from Buffalo. The Bills at 6-6. We've been talking about everything at stake for the Bills here in Week 14, tied with both the Chargers and Oakland for that spot as they give chase behind the Ravens' second wild card spot. And you consider, Adam, that they still have to play a game in Foxborough against the Patriots. That'll be a tough one to win. So this one today really at a premium for the Bills.
It is, and not only that, but again, this week they're going to have to answer a lot of the quarterback questions again. The health of Peterman, Tyrod Taylor.
Adam, I have to say I'm with you. I'm pretty shocked at this decision.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. I get it, playing conservatively, try and pin them back deep, but I think at this point, you go for it and try and get this game over with.
Basically just playing for a tie. Unless they can somehow get the football back and use that field position to their advantage, which is a distinct possibility. Those fans certainly don't like the call. There's Colton Schmidt meantime with a very good punt. So at least from McDermott's point of view, to play the field position and then force a 3 and out here, that was a big first step that they needed to happen. 31 yards on the punt by Schmidt. And now McDermott needs his defense to come through, as Buffalo has 1 timeout left.
Yeah, I get it, but I'm not sure if I love it.
Sean McDermott, 43-year-old first-year head coach, had this team at 5-2, one of the surprise stories in the league, before the bottom just completely fell out. Those 3 consecutive double-digit losses blown out by the Chargers and Saints. Ended the day 1-4 over their last 5 games, trying to stay in the playoff hunt. It's Frank Gore for a pickup of 5. And that clock running now inside of 4 minutes left.
You know where these guys are starting to feel it? Their feet. Right now, playing in that snow, your feet are frozen in every movement. You're feeling it. So I think right now the offenses maybe have the advantage. But boy, I got to tell you, playing in that kind of snow with cleats on.
Here's Gore, that second gasp, and he will have the first down and more. Gore for 10. What a game he's played.
It really is. And knowing coming into this game that the running game and the running backs had to be a big part of it. I got to tell you, the desire to keep playing and giving this kind of effort in a game like this where you really don't have anything to play for really tells you what kind of player and what kind of person Frank Gore is.
We hit the 3-minute mark. Play action from Brissett. Up the seam, intended for Doyle, and incomplete. Well, we knew they'd have to lean on Gore today, as the Bills would with McCoy, and both of these runners have come through. So much mutual respect between them, as Frank Gore over the 100-yard mark for the first time this season and the 42nd time of his incredible career. The old gladiator coming through one more time for the Colts. Career high 36 rushing attempts. Trying to give his team a chance. Brissett play action again behind Hilton and incomplete. Richard Davius White upset with himself, had a chance on the deflection.
This is one that you got to have if you're Brissett. T.Y. Hilton is going to come on your right side of your screen, and he's going to be wide open. There's nobody inside there, and if Hilton gets a chance at that football, that's the play that they need. In a game like this where you don't throw a lot of passes, when you have your opportunity, those are the ones you have to hit, and the Colts missed it.
3rd and 10. Brissett well protected, over the middle, finds Rodgers. But Rodgers short of the first down marker, tackled by Micah Hyde. A pickup of only 6. And on 4th down, the Colts will punt.
The Bills are going to get another opportunity at this. They're only going to have 1 timeout, as Sean McDermott decides to take it right now to save an extra 20 seconds off of the clock. But going to have to navigate this now in a 2-minute situation here with not much of a passing threat, no timeouts, and a quarterback that hasn't thrown a lot of passes.
Well, sometimes, Adam, you have to make those decisions as a coach that aren't very popular with your fans and sometimes not with the announcers, but this is kind of how he envisioned it or hoped that it would go. His defense would come through, and they do. As Sean McDermott's offense getting warmed up, and they will have one more chance.
It worked right before halftime. Their only touchdown of the game, where it was really LaShawn McCoy that got that party started, but I need something big to happen.
So here's Rigoberto Sanchez, the rookie punter from Hawaii. A little bit short on the punt, but certainly decent when you consider the elements. 35 yards into that wind. And here comes Joe Webb with 2:25 left in the overtime, and this thing all tied at 7. Jacoby Brissett, Nathan Peterman, your starters. Peterman left the game with a head injury in the third quarter, as we are right around a foot of snow as the lake effect snow continues to accumulate. Freezing temperatures, the wind that has been a huge factor. And Adam, it's been a battle of attrition.
It is. They run the ball right here. Unless they get out of bounds, pretty sure they're not going to be able to get another snap off before the 2-minute warning.
Bills are out of timeouts. Here's Webb throwing to the sideline and completes. That's the tight end Charles Clay, a very minimal pickup of only a yard. As that stops the clock, tackled on the play by Farley. Indianapolis with its only 3 wins this season, coming against Cleveland in week 3. A couple of weeks later at home against San Francisco, and then in Houston week 9 back in early November. Here's Webb. We'll run for it on second down, tackled by John Bostic, a pickup of 3.
So this is going to run down to the 2-minute warning. Got to think about a big third down call here if you're Sean McDermott.
All tied at 7. Bills, Colts on CBS. Final 2 minutes as the grounds crew here that has been doing yeoman's work to try to get as much snow off the field as they can. Joe Webb will work from the gun, 3rd and 6. As now it's a sudden death affair between Indianapolis and Buffalo. The Bills from their own 39. Webb. Boy, Sheard nearly getting there. Webb has a man. It is caught. Deontay Thompson with an incredible catch. Late flag is thrown. It's a 35-yard play if it stands.
Colts say it's not going to
Pass
stand.
interference. Defense number 42. The penalty decline as a result of the play is a first down.
This was incredible. Late separation from Thompson. Beautiful ball from Joe Webb. And look at that concentration falling down in the snow. Boy, that one was big, and what a play.
Deontay Thompson, whom the Bills signed on October the 17th, with an incredible play to keep the Bills alive. 1st and 10 from the Colts 26. This is McCoy, shot out of a cannon. Very close to another Buffalo first down. Waiting to see where the football is spotted here, as suddenly the Bills offense showing life, and Hauschka getting warmed up.
Now what a backbreaker for the Colts on that play. But what a way to come through, both from Webb and Thompson, when you've got to make a play downfield. You know, it's pretty much been all Kelvin Benjamin in the passing game, but boy, for Thompson to come down with that ball in that moment was big time.
Officials said he is short of the first down, so a pickup of 9 will set up a 2nd and 1. And there you go back to Sean McDermott making that unpopular decision to punt when everyone in the stadium felt like they should roll the dice and go for it.
Yeah, it was an obvious choice. You punt in that situation. You punt, you stop them, and then you get a good chance, field position. Of course he made the right call.
Well, that's why we're up here, and Sean McDermott's down on the field as McCoy loses his footing. An opportune time for that to happen for the Bills on a day where McCoy has been so good. Marcus Hunt credited for the tackle. As McDermott somehow trying to get his team a win, which would push them to 7 and 6 and still within striking distance of that second wild card position.
And we do know that this is far from automatic if they do not get this and elect to kick the field goal. So, in a normal situation, this is going to be played rather conservatively, but I think, still the Bills, they have to try and get as close as they can to that goalpost before they attempt this kick.
Interesting that you see Stephen Hauschka coming out onto the field, perhaps to try to measure things up, to see what he's going to be dealing with here potentially in a couple of minutes, as the Bills line up for 3rd and 4 here with Webb under center. Here's McCoy breaking a tackle. McCoy into the end zone, and Buffalo wins it. Incredible. Shady McCoy stopping the show with a 21-yard sprint.
Boy, Richie incognito on this play. The left guard, a thing of beauty. When you see number 64 on the right side, the combination block, and then get up on that linebacker, Antonio Morrison, one-on-one, Shady McCoy against Matthias Farley. Not going to happen. You get a bad angle by TJ Green. And LaShawn McCoy ices this game and puts it away for the Buffalo Bills. Unbelievable run. And that's the way you close it out.
LaShawn McCoy, a new career high, 32 rushing attempts, 156 yards, and the 21-yard game winner to send the Bills to the overtime win. And with the victory, the Bills now 7-6. The Raiders today falling to 6-7. So at the moment, the Bills all by themselves in that number 7 spot, a half game behind the Ravens, and that second wild card spot. It was Deontay Thompson on this incredible catch, and that set the stage for Shady McCoy and his 21-yard game-winning touchdown sprint. Your final score in overtime, Buffalo 13, Indianapolis 7. Coming up next, the State Farm postgame show. Now for Adam Archuleta, Steve Tasker, our entire crew, Spiro Dita saying so long from Buffalo. We'll send you back to James Brown in New York for all the latest scores and highlights right after this.